So today we are going to talk about the head and shoulders strategy. Now this strategy is a very interesting strategy. Why? Because of the name, head and shoulders. Now this is a very simple strategy that anyone can trade because anyone has a head and a shoulders. Right? Everyone has a head and a shoulders. So it's very simple, right? So in this first example, this is a head and shoulders pattern. Okay. This is the head. This is the head. This is the left shoulder. That's the right shoulder, right? So this pattern is a reversal pattern. A reversal pattern is a pattern which shows that there might be a change in trend. Okay, it's a pattern which shows that there might be a change in trend, right? So this is how it happens. So price moves up, comes down, forms a higher high, comes down, then forms a lower low, right? Forms a lower high here, comes down, forms a lower high here, and then comes down again. But when you look at it from hindsight, you can see that these two shoulders, right, are in the same zone. So realize that price went up, came to this zone, dropped, went up, came down, retested this same zone and dropped, forming the head and shoulders pattern. Now, the head and shoulders pattern, this is for the sell, right? This is for the sell setup. Now, there is another one called the inverted head and shoulders pattern. It is the head and shoulders pattern turned upside down, right? So this is for the buy. Okay, same thing. This is the head, these are the two shoulders. So you wait, price comes to this shoulder, you enter your setup, and there you go. You wait, price comes to this shoulder, you enter your setup and goes. Now to the most important thing, right? Where do you identify head and shoulders pattern? Now, head and shoulders patterns can appear anywhere on the chart, but the most efficient and profitable ones are at the end of trends, right? Are at the top or bottom. Okay, if it's an uptrend, right? If it's an uptrend, you find this. If it's an uptrend, you find this at the top. Okay, at the very top of the trend, very top of the trend, before the trend changes direction. If it's a downtrend moving down, you find this at the bottom, right? Then you take the buy setup and you go. So we are going to do what? I'm going to show you more examples on how this thing works, right? So let's go and see some examples of how this thing works. And one thing about this strategy is that, you can take more than one entry on this setup, because sometimes price comes here, you take an entry, right? It comes down to hit your take profit. It goes back to the same zone. You can take another entry and it will hit the TP again. So from this same setup, right, you can have two different positions, right? First one hits your TP, it comes back to the same place again. You take another one, hits your TP. So from just one setup, you can have like two positions, right? So let's go and see some examples of this. So for our first example, we'll be looking at Euro US dollar, right? So we can clearly see that this is an uptrend. Why is it an uptrend? First of all, price is moving in an upward direction. Second of all, we can see that price is forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, and so on. Okay, but something interesting is happening here. We can see and identify the head and shoulder pattern here, right? We can see that this is the head, okay, and this are the two shoulders. This one and this one trend is where this pattern appears. The top part of a trend, that's where this pattern appears, right? So this pattern appears at the top part of the trend. So now that we've been able to identify this is the what? The head and shoulders pattern. We are going to do what? We'll be able to identify this the head and let me clear these ones. Let me clear these ones so that we'll be able to take the example very well. Right. So we can clearly see that after forming the head, the left shoulder, and the right shoulder, we can see that the bulls moved in very strongly to form the right shoulder. They moved, look at the size of that candle. Very huge, very huge candle. They moved in straight to the right shoulder. And we all know that the head and shoulders pattern is a reversal pattern, which means that price will reverse in this direction. So in this scenario, this is a sell, right? So let's see. So now I know this is my entry. So I'm now looking for what? A sign that the momentum has reduced and that buyers are no more coming into the market. So this has given me my setup because after this big bullish candle, I can see that what has happened. There is a reduction in what? Momentum. Right? There's a reduction in momentum. Momentum has reduced here. See, the body is very small. So this is why I enter my sell setup. This is why I enter my short position. So I enter it here. Right? Stop loss slightly above this level. You know, my TP here. The reason why I put my stop loss slightly above this level is that when price can come all the way to this level, you know, a lot of people will put their stop losses here and also here, right? So they can move price to this level and take a lot of people out. So I want to prevent that from happening to me, you know. I know that if price gets to this level and I'm stopped out here, it means I'm totally wrong on the direction, right? I don't want the case where I'm actually right, but I get stopped out and I don't enjoy, you know, the trade, right? So let's see how this trade plays out. Let's see how this trade plays out. So we can see there's a decrease in momentum. We've pushed price back into the zone. Okay, so now we are in profit. All right. So you know what? I am going to push my take profit. I've noticed that, right? I've noticed that this is the level where price what? The buyers came in strongly. So I'm going to adjust my take profits to this level, right? Because I can see that the buyers came in strongly here. So instead of putting it at the bottom here, I'll take it slightly up, you know, just in case you don't know what might happen, right? So let's see, right? Okay, so over here you can see clearly that what our take profit is hit. Our take profit is hit. Our take profit is hit, you know. Our take profit is hit. So this was a 2 point something trade, you know, the risk to reward was 2 point something, right? So let's see what happens. I'm very interested to see if it actually comes down here. And let's see. So actually it didn't even come there, right? It stopped at where I said it will stop. And then what did price do? Price did a retest, right? Price did a retest of that same zone again, right? So, like I told you, I mean, if I was, so like I told you, if I was the one taking this trade, right? As soon as price gets back into this zone again, I'm going to take another trade. So I'm going to take another trade. I'm going to take another trade, you know. I'm going to take another trade. I'm going to take another trade, you know. Yeah, yeah. So now I'm going to take the trade exactly where I took the previous one. So yeah, TP at this same level. So let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So I can see that price is moving in my direction, right? Okay, so we've retraced to hit this place again, hit this zone again, right? So, but I've already taken my position, so let's see what happens. This, this is a very interesting trade. This is a very, very interesting trade. Why? Just look at the power of head and shoulders pattern. First of all, we spotted the head and shoulders, the left, right, the shoulder, and the right shoulder. When price came to the right shoulder, we sold here. We had our TP here. So this is the first trade. Then price came back to the same zone again. And I told you, when price comes back to the same zone, you can take it. So we took the trade again. And just look at that. Look at the size of that one candle. Look at the size of that one candle. So we've had a risk to reward ratio of 2.05 and then 2.12, making about 4 point something with just one setup. Just one setup. Right? With just one setup. So let's look at another example. So in this second example, we are going to be looking at AUDUSD. So you can clearly see that there is an uptrend. You know, price is forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Now, at the top of the trend, what happened? You can see the head and shoulder pattern. This is the head, left shoulder, and you can see price has come to retest, forming the right shoulder. So this is clearly a sell setup. So I will be taking this trade. I'll be taking this trade, selling here. I'll put my stop loss around this level, my take profit here, right? So the reason why I'm putting my stop loss around this level is so that, because if I put my stop loss here, what happens? The market makers can try to take, can try to take out the stops here. If I put my stop loss here as well, they can try and take the stops here. But if I put my stop loss here, when they take these stops here and even increase the spreads, I will not be touched, right? So I told you it's better to have a wider stop loss, so that your trade plays out naturally than getting stopped out, So let's see how this trade turns out. All right, so let's see how this trade turns out. So the risk to reward on this trade is 1:7. It's a 1:7. So let's see. All right, so currently we are in. So you see, they moved price up. Okay, they moved price up. But what happened? If my stop loss was there, they would have touched me. I told you, you get it. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we are able to hit. Wow, 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 wow. So we are almost hitting. Wow, wow. So you just hit our TP. It's very, very clean and easy. Very clean and easy. Very, very clean and easy. This trade is very clean and straightforward. All right. So let's see if the market also comes back, retest that same zone again. I mean, if market comes back to retest that same zone again, I'll take the trade again. That's one beautiful thing about head and shoulders pattern. If it comes back to the same zone, you can take it again. So we can see that market has tested this zone. So I'm going to enter another short position. In fact, I'm going to copy this same thing. I'm going to clone this thing. The same thing. Alright. Stop loss there. TP there as well. Right. So I'm going to clone the same thing. Alright. So let's see how this one plays out as well. So this is also a 1:7. Let's see how this one plays out as well. Alright, let's see how this one plays out as well. Very, very clean trade. So we are currently down and profit and profit. Okay, okay, okay. So right now the price is just moving up and down. Price is just moving up and down. So let's see. Price is just moving up and down. Wow. So we are okay. So you see, we almost hit our TP, our stop loss. Price almost hit our stop loss. You know, price almost hit our stop loss before reversing. So let's see if this thing hits our TP. So we have a lot of consolidation here. Majority of people will get scared and get out of the trade because of the consolidation and all that. But as soon as you enter the trade, you have confidence to hold it. That's the discipline. We are still consolidating. We are still consolidating. We are still consolidating. Wow. We are still consolidating. Right. We are still consolidating. Wow. Wow. This trade actually squeezed the energy out of me, because we consolidated here, just consolidated. Majority of people will just lose hope on the trade and say, oh, it won't go. But if you planned your trade, just take it. So, like I told you, you can have two setups on the same head and shoulder pattern. So we've just had a 1.7 risk to reward ratio, another 1.72, another 1.7. So, I mean, this is a very, very good strategy to learn. It can be learned by any, very, very easy and straightforward, very, very easy and straightforward. All right, so thank you very much. All right, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and like, and also share it with your friends. This knowledge is for everyone, right? It's free for everyone. All right, so thank you very much.